Hey everybody, here we are. We did it. Last lesson of Unit 8. I'm excited. I know you are. And what a lesson we have. We get to slow it down a little bit, I should say. This is something that I know your geometry teachers did a great job with last year. We're talking about circles. We get to go over our favorite formula from geometry, x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared. H and K is our center. We know that R is the radius. And just a reminder, if the center is the origin, the equation will only be in the form of x squared plus y squared equals r squared. Or if either coordinate is 0, it'll just be x squared or y squared, depending on which one it is. So this lesson, we're going to walk through this so fast. Now, it's very similar to the vertex. Anytime I'm in parentheses, I take the opposite of it. So in order for me to find my center here, okay, our center comes from the opposite of -3, the opposite of -2. Now this is how I find the radius. The radius is always the square root of 9, which is 3. So it's the square root of whatever comes over here. Remember, that number is represented by r squared. I don't want r squared, I want the radius. So I want the square root of it, okay? So over here, I take the opposite to find my center. My center, opposite of +3 is -3. Opposite of +5 is -5. How do I find my radius? My radius is going to be radical 25, which is just 5. Okay? Hopefully all this is coming back to us. Now, this is exactly one of those questions I was talking about before. My center is not the origin, but one of the coordinates. And if you look, the opposite of +5 is -5. So there's my x coordinate. The y variable does not have parentheses, so that makes it 0. Okay? The radius we find the same way every single time. The radius, we take the square root of what comes after the equal sign, and we simplify if possible. Radical 10 doesn't simplify, so I leave it alone. Last one here. I'm going to let you guys do this one yourselves. Be careful on the radius. I get a center of 10, -4. Opposite of -10 is +10. Opposite of +4 is -4. The radius is radical 72. Radical 72 breaks up into radical 36, radical 2, not 9 and 8. If you do 9 and 8, you have to simplify 8 more. And that goes to 6 radical 2. Okay? Also from geometry, I can ask you to write your own. Well, if I remember, my equation is x minus h squared plus y minus k squared is equal to r squared. So I take the opposite of the center coordinates and I square the radius. X minus 2 squared plus y minus 5 squared is equal to 4 squared. Don't leave it like this. You guys are all little geniuses. We go to the best school that there is. So I know you know that 4 squared is 16. You can go straight to that too. You don't have to show that first step. I'm a big fan of showing everything and then simplifying. Opposite of -1 is +1. So like I said, since I show everything, these for me, I'm going to be able to simplify with no issue. X minus 0 is just x. X squared is x squared. I'm going to keep this y plus 1 squared here. And radical 5 times radical 5 is just 5. Okay? So that's how I do those there. Now, what do we do if I have a center and a point, but I don't have that r squared? Well, this is very similar to 2 lessons ago when I had to plug in to find a. Now I'm plugging in to find r squared. Where if you think about it, again, our formula is x minus h squared plus y minus k squared is equal to r squared. Here's h, here's k, here's x, here's y. So what we're going to do is we're going to plug in and solve for r squared. I don't need to solve for r because the formula calls for r squared, not r. You can if you want. You can if you want. But I get x minus 2 squared plus y minus 4 squared is equal to r squared. Now I make the next substitution. I fill in the x and the y. 4 minus 2 squared plus 4 minus 4 squared is equal to r squared. 4 minus 2 is 2. 4 minus 4 is 0. Four equals r squared. Ladies and gentlemen, our answer is going to come from this. That was sloppy. And this. Okay. Final answer is going to be x minus 2 squared plus y minus 4 squared is equal to 4. I don't need to solve for r because it didn't ask me that. It just says write the equation of each circle in center radius form given the center and a point. So I'll let you guys try this one. I get 13 is equal to r squared, giving me a final answer of x plus 5 squared plus y minus 1 squared is equal to 13. Remember, you don't need to solve for r, but you can if you want. It's radical 13 in this one. And then the last one, it's 2. Now, it would be great if I was always in center radius form. Chances are we're not always going to be in center radius form. We're going to have to do a little bit of work ourselves. Okay, so let's zoom in here. I'm going to have a given circle. It's going to help to rewrite this given circle. We're going to put all our x's together, all our y's together. And then all we do is we complete the square twice. I complete the square once for the x's, once for the y's. X squared minus 10x plus blank. Let's do this. Plus y squared plus 8y plus blank. That's going to be equal to, it is going to help us. Let's move this 23 over to the other side. That's equal to 23 plus blank plus blank. One blank for the x's, one blank for the y's. How do I fill in that? Negative 10 over 2 squared, that's negative 5. Negative 5 squared is 25. Do it again for the y's. Positive 8 divided by 2 squared, positive 4 squared, I get 16. There's always a reason that I have you guys show this step. Always a reason. X minus 5 squared plus y plus 4 squared. That's going to be equal to 64. Yep, 64. From there, we can list our center. Opposite of negative 5, opposite of positive 4. And my radius. Square root of 64 is 8. Okay? So in the beginning of the year, when we say completing the square is important, completing the square is important. Okay? We've got 2 more, and then we've got to graph them. We rewrite. Remember, when we rewrite, we move that constant over with 2 blank spots. We take half of b and square it, and then I do it again for the y's. We try to show this step for a reason. From there, opposite of positive 1, opposite of negative 2. Square root of 9 is 3. Now, how do I graph something like this? If you guys remember, what we're going to do is we're going to plot the center. Negative 1, 2. Once you plot your center, go the radius amounts of unit up, down, left, and right. So in this case, I'm going 3 units up, 1, 2, 3. 3 units down, 1, 2, 3. 3 to the left, 1, 2, 3. 3 to the right, 1, 2, 3. And you have a circle. Okay, there's our circle. I love Notability. It helps me draw perfect circles now all the time. One more, I'll let you guys try this one yourselves. I get a center of 4, -6, and a radius of 8. When I completed the square, I got x minus 4 squared plus y plus 6 squared equals 64. So 4, -6 is over here. 8 above. 8 to the left. Well, gonna look something like this. I don't know. Something like that, all right? If you guys get one, I'm pretty sure it's gonna fit on your graph. So I wouldn't worry about that too much, okay? But yeah, that's what we have for you today. Yeah, I don't know. Not gonna try any further than that, really. Doesn't look that good. I like math a lot, so I'm gonna introduce this to you. This is next year. You guys are gonna talk about something called ellipses. It's known as a conic section. So it does actually fit in really nicely with circles. I'm gonna do these two problems with us just because it could help you. Maybe you can save this video for next year too. But basically, a circle is equal to r squared. An ellipse is always equal to 1. So you have sideways ellipses and vertical ellipses. And all you're going to do is complete the square. And whatever number you get, you divide by that. So let's we'll just do one. We start the same way, where I group my x's together. And I put plus blank. I group my y's together. Plus blank. I move that 8 over. So if you look, it's all the same so far. Now, if you remember, with completing the square, you have to have a lead coefficient of 1. So the x's have an issue with that, which means that I need to factor out this 4. And if I factor out a 4, I'm left with minus 2x plus blank. But you're not allowed to just do this because it helps you with the problem. That's not how math works. So you eventually, if you factored out a 4, you eventually have to put that 4 back in. And the way that we put it back in is we multiply it in on the other side, when whatever number I put is going to now be multiplied by that 4. So very similar to circles. In order to find the blank spot, I take half of b and square it. I do it again. Square that. So now I have 4 parentheses, x minus 1 squared plus y plus 2 squared is equal to 8 plus 4 is 12 plus 4 is 16. But now this is what it would look like if it was a circle. We're not a circle though. We're known as an ellipse, which means I need to divide everything by 16. So what we're going to do, since we divided everything by 16, 4 over 16 reduces to 1 over 4. We're going to make this x minus 1 squared over 4 plus y plus 2 squared over 16 is equal to 1. Don't worry about finding the center right now. Actually, center is the only thing we're going to find. I meant don't worry about finding a radius or anything, because ellipses don't actually have a radius, but I do have a center of the ellipse. And that center follows the same rules. Opposite of -1, opposite of +2. Okay? I'm not going to bore you any further. I'm not going to go any further with this question. I'm going to do the last one because I really enjoy math. Don't worry, this is most likely not going to come up again until next year. Big numbers here. Oof. We can handle it. So I factored out the 9 from the x's. 144 divided by 9 is 16. I factored out the 4 from the y's. But remember, because I can't just do that because I want to, I have to put it back in on the right side. Now I complete the square like normal. I take half of b. And fill that in on both sides. I take half of b and fill that in on both sides. Okay. The left side becomes 9 parentheses x minus 8 squared plus 4 parentheses y minus 1 squared. Remember, even though this is an ellipse, I always show that step for a reason. The right side, I do have to simplify. Negative 544 plus 9 times 64 plus 4. That right side gives us 36. From there, I have to be equal to 1. So I'm going to divide everything by 36. And when I do that, 9 over 36 reduces to 1 over 4. 4 over 36 reduces to 1 over 9. 36 over 36 is 1. The only thing that we're going to find is our center. Our center here, opposite of negative 8 is 8, opposite of negative 1 is 1. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for staying with me for this bonus math over here. I know we didn't have to do it, but I'm glad you guys stayed with me. Hopefully these videos for Unit 8 helped you. If you need anything else, like I said, make sure you ask questions to me. Make sure you ask questions to your teacher. Whatever you need, we're here for you. Good luck with everything, and I will see you guys soon. Bye, everyone.